Nggak usah.
Okay, everyone. So we are going to start our webinar by now. So I hope that everyone is ready. So good morning, everyone, and good evening to our Mexican speakers, Daniel Garza and also Sofia Mendoza, broadcasting live from Mexico right now. So hello, everyone, and we are so sorry. We are apologizing for our delay due to a technical reasons. And I hope that everyone is still excited about our webinar today. So before I'm starting our webinar, I'm expecting everyone to turn on your camera, please. And I hope that everyone changed their name to the format that we have set for you. Everyone, please turn on your camera so that we know you are there with us. Unless you are having internet connection, then that is okay. But if you are able, please do turn on your camera. We would like to see you, and our distinguished speakers would also love to see you. Okay. Okay, so good morning, everyone, and welcome to Cross Culture Seminar 2.0 with the Mexico series. And our theme today is the wonderful of Mexico. So today, as we have successfully held our first Cross Culture Seminar 1.0, and that was Bangladesh series, today we are having our second one, and that is Mexico series. And actually, among with us today, like our speakers already here with us, and that is Daniel Garza and also Sofia Mendoza. And maybe for them, for Daniel, maybe and Sofia, you may say hi.
Hi everyone. So my name is Daniel Jose Garza Serna. Nice to meet you. I am 25 years old. I am from the city of Monterey. Nice to meet you all.
Okay, so that is Daniel. And then what about Sophia? Where is our beautiful Sophia? Maybe.
Hello.
Hello, Sophia.
Hi, my name is Sofia Mendoza. I'm from Mexico and I'm very grateful for being here.
And we are really happy to see you here because it's like you are the most beautiful one here, as you can see. Okay, so anyways, and before we are starting our first material today, let me introduce you who they are and how I actually met with Daniel. So I met Daniel in Bali in 2019. So I met him in Bali in the international MUN event. And let me tell you, Daniel is just like the sweetest person I've ever met. And then like when we met in Bali, he actually gifted me with a bunch of Mexican stuff. It was like he gave me tortilla. He gave me actually kind of like a sweet, sour, and spicy candy. And this is actually why that it inspired us. It inspired my program and also my department to have like a kind of like a sharing cross culture seminar about the difference and also the culture shock between Indonesia and also Mexico, as Daniel has actually visited Indonesia before. And even Daniel has visited so many countries, and maybe I can tell that more than 20 countries. And it is really interesting of how intelligent and also how impressive his experience is, and also that he is a very intelligent of a cultural knowledge. And that's why and we are so excited, and that's why we are so happy for having him, and also that he's inviting his beautiful friend Sofia Mendoza with us to share about his cultural things with us today. So that's all. I think a short introductions about Daniel, about and also Sophia. And Daniel, are you ready to deliver your first material? We are going to.
Yes.
Okay. So Chapin, present the PowerPoint, please. Okay, Daniel, the slide of presentation has been presented, and time is yours.
All right. So good morning, everyone. My name is Daniel Garza and Sofia Mendoza. So we're going to talk today about the PowerPoint, about Mexico, and we're going to talk about a little bit about Mexico and my experience in Indonesia and how I compare Indonesia and Mexico. So the Mexican flag, as you can see, has a green, white, and a red stripe that symbolizes like the Italian flag. It was inspired by the Italian flag, and as well, it has in the middle a eagle that is eating a snake in a cactus. Well, there is a legend that one of the Aztecs was going to see. He saw in a dream an eagle in the middle of a lake eating a snake in a cactus. And in that dream, they say to him, okay, so in the moment that you see this eagle in the middle of the lake, you are going to start a big city. And this city is going to be Mexico City. So a few days later, he saw that eagle in the middle of the lake. And then with all the Aztec engineers, Mayan engineers, they started building that city in the middle of a lake, and that is how Mexico City started, and that is why there is a eagle in the Mexican flag. Okay. So next slide, please. All right. So as you can see, there is a map there of Mexico City. Mexico's population right now, it's something in between 126 and 128 million people. The area is about almost like 2 million square kilometers. It's almost as big as Indonesia, but it's a little bit more tinier than Indonesia, and we have almost like half of the population that Indonesia has right now. Our biggest cities are Mexico City, that has 21 million people in the metropolitan area, as well as in Mexico City. Then we have Guadalajara, that is almost like 5 million people. And then there is my hometown or home city, Monterrey, that is 4.6 million people, 4.8 million people in our metro area. There are many places of interest around Mexico and many other cities like Puebla, where you can find many Catholic churches. There's one Catholic church for each day of the year. There is Cancun, that is the most famous city and beach of Mexico. There goes like 22 million tourists per year to Cancun. We have also Puerto Vallarta, and Los Cabos are also really popular tourist spots. They are mostly beaches. Also, in Mexico, you can find pyramids. Most of them, they are in Mexico, in the center of Mexico, southern Mexico, and southeastern Mexico. There you can see about the Aztecs, the Mayans, as well as other civilizations that live in Mexico. So, do you want to say anything, Sofia?
Nggak pesa ya. Dia makanya nggak pesa.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me, Sofia?
Yes, we are.
Sofia?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you want to say anything?
Well, we have many different.
Iya, dia yang dulu. Oh, itu punya apa sih? Dan dia Pak telepon. Tahu ngebully. Bayar.
Okay, so I will apologize, Sofia. You may talk now.
Just wait a second.
Okay, sure. So for all the participants, you are not allowed to turn on your microphone during our speakers presenting the material. So please turn off your microphone. Okay, Daniel, it's time is yours.
All right. So my friend Sofia is going to say something about Mexico.
Yeah. Mexico has different states. So, as Daniel said, the states of my city is Monterrey, Nuevo León. So it's a very big country, and you could find different traditions in different states.
So yes, as my friend was telling, there are 32 states in Mexico. Each of them has its own culture, just like Indonesia regions and Indonesian islands. Like in northern Mexico, it's more dry. It's more like a desert. Central Mexico is a little bit dry, but you can find also jungle parts. Also, you can find volcanoes, mountains, and everything. Usually around this time of year, it snows in northern Mexico, like in our state of Nuevo León, as well as other places like Chihuahua, Sonora, Coahuila. And Chihuahua gets to like minus 26 during winter, and in Sonora during summer, that is next to Chihuahua, it gets to 52, 54. But right now it's really cold, like minus 3, minus 4. And also in southern Mexico, you can find the state of Chiapas that is covered in jungle. It has like coffee, like Indonesia, cacao, and you can find many other plants and fruits that you can also find in Indonesia, like jackfruits, durians, and all of this, as well as lychees. So next slide, please. Next one. All right. So as you can see, the principal religion of Mexico is Catholicism.
Jadi anak wakil gubernur. Amaneh ya. Tas.
We are so sorry. Participants, please kindly turn off your microphone, please. And if you actually once again break our rule, then we may also kick you or make you leave from this webinar. We are so sorry for the interference, Daniel. We are so sorry for that. You may continue.
Don't
Thank you.
worry, it's okay. Thank you very much. So anyway, so the principal religion of Mexico is Catholicism. It's an 82.7% of the population. It used to be 95% like 10 or 15 years ago, but there are starting to be more non-believers in Mexico, as well as other Catholic people changing to other Christians. It can be Protestants, evangelistic Adventism, Jehovah Witness, as well as many other Christian religions. So as you can see there in the slide, you can see 6.6 for Protestant and evangelism, 1.4 for Jehovah Witness, as well as 1.9 for other religion. If you ask me, there is a minority at 20% of the population that is a Muslim, but Muslim is not that common here in Mexico. Like, as far as I know, I have seen 2 mosques here in my city of Monterrey, but I have never seen a Mexican Muslim in my life. So when I went to Indonesia, I saw that most people is Muslim, and I thought that was really cool and everything because, well, Muslim is not a really common in Mexico.
What? Ya kan Fitri belum maju. Ya iyalah masih ada.
Okay, and what else? Also, like in Mexico, you are free to practice any religion you want. You can be like Jewish, Muslim, Christian, non-believer, atheist is what you want. But as I told you, most people here in Mexico is Catholic.
Daniel, I think it's very important to mention that religion in Mexico is very important because it's part of the culture, but it's not all the life here. I mean, it's very free if you want to professor to be part of the religion or be aside.
All right. So yeah, basically, as my friend Gesia is telling, yeah, so religion is really important here in Mexico, as she was telling, because that makes most of our customs, traditions, and many things we make here in Mexico. Like, we practice Christmas during December, we have Easter, we have also, there is a celebration called the Magic Kings or Reyes Magos that is celebrated during January. And most people here in Mexico, we go on Sundays to church and we go to visit our family, rest, just like it used to be in the ancient times. And that is really important in our daily lives as Mexicans. And that's all. Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, so I'm going to talk about famous Mexican food. As you can see, we have tacos, we have enchiladas. Tacos are really is the most popular Mexican dish all around the world. Like, if anyone thinks of Mexico, he or she is going to think about tacos. Like, tacos are part of our daily life. Like, I eat tacos every day, and we can have it as a breakfast, as a dinner, or as a lunch, or as a snack. Like, we have like egg tacos, we have like chicharrón tacos, we have like meat tacos, like chicken tacos, and we can make lots of combinations about tacos. And depending on the state of Mexico is the type of tacos you can find. Like, in the state of Yucatan, you can find cochinita pibil, that it's made of pork, and it's traditional of the Yucatec people, of the Mayan people. Here in Mexico, you can find in central Mexico, you can find tacos sudados, or tacos that are covered in, how you say, in boiling oil. And also in northern Mexico, you can find cabrito, that are tacos made of baby goats. Also, you can find chilaquiles, and chilaquiles are like fried tortillas. They are covered in cheese, Then they have salsa on top. They have beans. They have cream, and they have avocado. So as you can see, avocados are part of our Mexican diet of every day. We eat it as a side dish or as a normal dish. Unlike Asia, in Asia they eat avocado as a dessert, but here in Mexico we eat it like as I like guacamole or like in a taco, like with cheese or with beans. It's really popular in our daily culture, and avocado trees can be as big as 10 or 20 meters, and they call it the green gold of Mexico. And what else? We have other drinks like tequila, that is the most popular Mexican drink in Mexico. It's made of a plant called agave, and they make it in a town called Tequila in the state of Jalisco here in Mexico, and they export it to all around the world. The only bad thing is like most of the tequilas that are found in Asia are synthetic or are Chinese. They are fake tequilas, and they shouldn't even be called tequilas because they are not real at all. And we also have other types of alcohols like mezcal, like bacanora, and we have other drinks like margaritas that are made with lime, they are made with salt, and they are made with tequila. And they were made in the beach of Acapulco in the 1940s. Oh, and we also have tamales, and tamales are really important part of our culture. And tamales are covered in a dried corn leaf, and the inside of the tamale is made with flour, and it has in the center, it can be pork, it can be chicken, it can be beef, beans, it can be chili with cheese, and there are many ingredients to make tamales, and they're really popular abroad, and especially because of the movie of Coco, that it was really popular around the world. Okay, so next slide. Also, we have enchiladas, and enchiladas, they're made of fried tortillas. They're made of red tortillas. They are fried in the center of a pan, and it has boiling oil. So they put the tortilla inside, and so it gets boiling and it's soft. So when they take out the tortilla, they put it on a plate, and then they put cheese in the center, and they fold it like a taco to make a circle, and then they cover it with more salsa and with more cheese.
We love the spicy. It's
Oh
very
yeah,
flavor.
yeah. So also, spiciness is really important in the Mexican culture. Like we put salsa to everything. Usually, to make a good salsa, we Mexicans we use like tomatoes. Then we put chilies. Then we put, I don't know, perhaps we can use avocados or salt, and then a little bit of water, and then we mix it all. We crush it, and we make the salsa, and we use it also as a side on top of our dishes like enchiladas, like tacos, like for our breakfast, like fried eggs with salsa, and as well as many other things. Like I'm going to show you a Mexican candy. So okay, so this is a Mexican lollipop. It's like a mango covered in chili, so it's like sweet and sour, and it's also like salty. It's like it's covered in chili, and at first it's like salty and it's like sour, but then you go to the center and it's all sweet like a mango. So most Mexican candies are like that, like lollies, like gummies, like, and even drinks like micheladas. Like it's a beer, and it has like chili on top, and it has like lime juice, and it has salt, and you put like English sauce in the middle, and then you drink it. So even if in our drinks they can be spicy, and even the original chocolate that came here from Mexico, it wasn't sweet like what you are used to it in Indonesia or in Mexico or any other part of the world. It was like a drink made traditionally from cacao, and it was spicy and it was really hot. But then the Europeans came here to Mexico. They conquered Mexico, and they took the chocolate to the Swiss people, and the Swiss people added milk. So that is right now the chocolate that is really popular around the world. But cacaos came out from Mexico, and as well as like tomatoes, avocados, vanillas, and many other things came out from Mexico, and they are really right now popular around the world, and they are grown in many parts of the world, like Asia, like Africa, like Europe, like many other countries and many other continents.
As my friend Daniel said, our sweets are spicy. And there are many appetizers with lemon, cucumber, jica, mango, and with all of the stuffs are spicy, chili, even the sweet.
Yeah, so as my friend said, so Mexicans like to eat sweet, salty, as well as sour at the same time. And that is part of our culture as well. So I don't know if Indonesia, they eat like spicy with sweet, but here in Mexico, we do. So next slide, please. Okay, so as you can see there, we have also guacamole. Guacamole is made with mashed avocado, and they put onion, they put tomato. You can also use like lime juice, and we also use other greens like we call it here perejil or cilantro. I think it's coriander in English. So they use coriander and they mix it with the guacamole, and we use totopos, and totopos are like triangle fried tortilla chips, and we use it as a side for guacamole. Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, so we also have chilaquiles, and as I said before, they are covered in salsa, in cheese, in they are fried tortillas. They have mashed beans, and sometimes Mexicans use like avocado on a side, and they put like fried eggs on top of the chilaquiles, and they make a really big breakfast, and it's really popular mostly in central Mexico.
We put
Okay, so
tortillas on everything.
yeah, in Mexico we use tortillas for everything, tortillas, or we use like avocado or beans for everything. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Mexican beverages. We're going to talk about margaritas. Margaritas were made in the 1940s. They were made by a lady called Margarita. She was going to make a party in her house in the 1940s, and she didn't know what to serve her friends. So she decided to mix tequila with lime, with salt, and she made a margarita. And right now, that is a really popular drink that you can drink in any Mexican beach, in any Mexican hotel, and you can find it there. And even Caesar salad is from Mexico. It's from the city of Tijuana, that it's next to San Diego in the border with the US. Okay, so next slide, please. So, Sofia, do you want to say anything?
Yes, the horchata is a beverage. I think it's beverage. It's not a alcoholic drink. It's about rice and cinnamon, right?
So yes, as my friends say, horchata it's made from water with rice, and it's like a really sweet drink. And they use cinnamon on top, and then you drink it. It's not alcoholic, and people love it as a dessert as well, or even in a normal dinner, lunch, snack. They like to drink horchata because it gives you a lot of energy, and it's really rich and really good. And we also have like other beverages from chocolate that are mostly drinking in the southern parts of Mexico, and they are not alcoholic either. And here in Mexico, we also have like variety of juices. We have like tamarind juice. We have like pineapple juice, like mango juice. We don't have avocado juice like in Asia, but we have like even grape juice, like strawberry juice, like apple juice, orange juices. Like Mexican territory is really big, so we, depending on the state that you live, it's the type of food that you're going to find, like fruits, like pork, like meat. It depends on where you live, and even seafood is really good. So next slide, please. And then there, as you can see, we have micheladas, and micheladas are made with beer, English sauce. They have salsa. They have like dry pepper on top. They have like lime, and they have also oranges. So it's sweet and sour, but and also spicy, but really good. So next slide, please. So Sofia, do you want to say anything about Cancun?
Yeah, it's a very party place. I think it's party. And also it's a beautiful beach. It's on the south of the country.
So yeah, Cancun is our most popular beach in Mexico. It's like Bali for Indonesia, Cancun is for Mexico. And there, Cancun is like a really expensive place. It like they charge you like it was like an American resort, because most of the tourists that arrive to Cancun are from the US as well as Canada, from Europe, and sometimes from other parts of Mexico, from Asia, and other parts of America. But there, it's full of resorts. Like they cost you like 300, 400, 500, 600 US dollar per night, but you can find as cheap as 50 or 100 or $200. And there is really good seafood there. And Cancun is really beautiful. You can find pyramids like the pyramid of Tulum that is nearby, and you can find one of the seven wonders of the world, that is Chichen Itza, that is like 3 hours away from Cancun. And it's a really beautiful pyramid. It's like the most popular pyramid here in Mexico that almost all of the tourists go when they come to Cancun or when they come to Mexico. And many people go to Cancun, I know, like spring breakers from the US, they go to party, like to have alcohol, they get wild. And because here in Mexico, the drinking age is 18 and in the US is 21. So most of those tourists are young Americans that want to have party, to have fun. And because they can't do it in the US, they come all the way to Mexico and they pass the spring break, as well as many people that are old in the US and Canada. They come here to Mexico to pass the winter because in their home place or hometown, it's really cold. So they buy a house or they stay for 4 or 6 months here in Mexico until it gets warmer in the US or Canada, and then they get back to US and Canada. And here it's more cheaper for them, so that's why they live more months here in Mexico. Okay, so next slide, please. So as I was telling you, that is one of the most popular beaches in Mexico, also Tulum Beach. It has a pyramid next to the beach. So you can visit the historic part of the Mayans there in the pyramid of Tulum. And you can go to the beach, you can go to swimming and have fun and get to know historic and as well as touristic places in Mexico, just like Tulum. And the only bad thing about these places is that we get lots of hurricanes here to Mexico. So many of them, they pass by Cancun or Tulum. Sometimes they just pass around, or sometimes they struck on top of Cancun or Tulum, just like typhoons pass through Indonesia, like the Philippines or Thailand. Here in almost all states of Mexico, you can get like a hurricane depending on the season between May and October, and sometimes even November. So next slide, please. So Sofia, do you want to say anything about Playa del Carmen?
Playa del Carmen is near to Cancun, and Tulum Beach is an island, I think. So it's very peaceful and beautiful to visit and stay there, because all the people around you, it's about a good energy. So if you stay there, it's like paradise.
Yes, so as my friends say, like Playa del Carmen, like if you want to avoid all the crowds in Cancun, you go like to Playa del Carmen, that is like 1 hour away from Cancun, and you can go there. They have really good restaurants and they have really good seafood. Like you can have like prawns, you can have lobster, like octopus, squids, and they make it in a Mexican way, like with cheese, and they put tortillas and they put salsa. So it's a really rich and exquisite food that you can try in those places in Mexico. And we have other popular beaches like Los Cabos and Puerto Vallarta, and there you can find all the old people from the US and Canada. And Acapulco used to be really popular here in Mexico, but many bad things started to happen in Acapulco, like narcos, drugs, and everything. So people changed to Cancun, and right now the hotspot of Mexico of tourism is in Cancun, not in Acapulco. However, the Bay of Acapulco it's really beautiful and it's really worth a visit. It has really beautiful beaches, hotels, and you can visit islands that are nearby, just like Cancun. But the beach of Cancun is more beautiful than Acapulco. Okay, so next slide.
Okay, Daniel, that's the end of the slide. Do you want to ask?
Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about other things of Mexico. Like here in Mexico, we have dramas just like Korean dramas, but they're really different than Korean dramas because here in Mexico or in Latin America in general, dramas are more passionate. They have more love, like they have more mature themes, and there are many differences like that have in between Korean dramas and Mexican dramas. Like in a Korean drama, the couples barely like they kiss, they barely hug, and Mexicans they are full of emotions, they are passionate, they hug all the time, they kiss in the cheek like when they salute someone. And even the scenes in telenovelas or in Mexican dramas are more passionate, there are more nudity that otherwise if they were streamed in Indonesia they would be blocked because of culture. It's like they are more like how can I say they are more adulting, but it's because that's the type of customer or the most of the people that watch it here in Mexico and in Latin America in general, and they are really popular. Like they make a soap opera or a telenovela or drama here in Mexico, and they export it to the U.S. for the Hispanic population. They sent it to Latin America, and they are really popular also in the Eastern Europe and sometimes in Spain too. And sometimes it's really rare, but if they get to be really popular, they get all the way to Korea, to Thailand, and I have believe even some even Indonesia. But like the drama of Esmeralda, it was streaming in Indonesia back then. And what else? Like yeah, like Mexican entertainment is really popular around the world, just like our musicians and singers. Like they're really popular around Latin America, in Mexico, in the US, and in Spain. So, Sofia, do you want to say anything about Mexican dramas or entertainment?
Okay, Mexican dramas is free about taboos. You can see on the television in any hour people kissing each other and hug each other and have sex with each other. So it's very free about to see anything on the television, even in the when the kids are around you. So it's very how can I say libre, liberal.
It's really liberal or free. Yeah.
Yeah, even the fathers, the grandfathers are seems like okay. It's good to see that it's not about shocking, in our culture.
Yeah, so as my friends say, they're really passionate, they're really liberal, and usually like those are really big taboos in in some countries in Asia. So because it's not part of the culture, like as I told you, if those telenovelas try to get to all the way to Asia, in most countries because of culture they will get blocked. But otherwise, here in Latin America, is really normal, and it's really normal to find those type of scenes and that. And like you can find telenovelas or dramas for all types of ages. There are like dramas for kids, like for teens, like for grown-ups, for adults, for old people, and they have all types of themes. So it's, and there are even some that talk about drugs and narcos, but they are not as common as most foreign people think about Mexico, because in Mexico they think like, in other cultures they think like, oh, Mexico, it has like narcos, drugs, bad people, and we do have that, but it's not as common as most people think. It's like the bad part of Mexico, but most of Mexico is really good, like really beautiful, and we have many good things to show about us, because most of those narcos and drug series are made from the US, and they give us like a bad propaganda to other countries, and they even make Mexico to look poorer to other countries, but Mexico is a really dynamic and a really big economy. So it's not as poor as most American movies will show you, and it's not all people are mean. Most of Mexican people are really open, they are really friendly, they're really happy like me, and they will want to show you like the good side of Mexico. Like in Mexico they love foreigners, and they want to show the foreigner like the good part of Mexico, so they don't have a bad idea about us, and so we can show our best to other people. And also in those telenovelas, like religion and family is a really important issue. And just like in Indonesia, it's like family ties, friendship, and also like religion is a really important part of our daily lives. So even if Indonesia is far away from Mexico, sometimes we are not that different, because we share like a value of love, of unity, and that's a really good thing.
Daniel, Nisar Surilla asked you a question.
All right, so yeah, you can tell me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we have already got a questions from some of our participants, Daniel, and let's go to the first one, and it is from Hasti Lestari. So, does Mexican have do's and don'ts? Like, for example, in Indonesia, we should use our right hand, to eat because it's impolite. You know, it's kind of like a table manner, and it is actually kind of like impolite or like not a good thing or inappropriate thing to eat with our left hand. And also that, for example, when we have when we meet elder people or like strangers, we have this kind of like a nickname. We have this when you meet someone like a stranger, we have this our own pronouns, such as like a ka, mas, bang, or like something like that. Maybe like a Daniel in Bali, you have ever heard that someone called each other like a bli? Yeah.
All right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. So do you have like maybe the similar one in Mexico? That's the question from Hesti Lestari.
All right. So hello, Hesti. Really good question. So, anyways, I'm going to tell you about the do's and don'ts as well as the nicknames that you were mentioning. So, okay, Mexican manners are really important. Like in Mexico, the first impression is really important. Okay, so when they invite you to eat, you shouldn't make noises, because in Mexican culture, it's really badly seen. Like if you make like, or like drinking like look, and all of those, like people will stare at you like this, and they will be like, they wouldn't invite you next time. So manners are really important for Mexicans. It's like we Mexicans, we take showers every day, because if you are stinky or smell bad, like, people will avoid you. That's one thing. Also, manners is like, don't make noises when you are eating, and you should eat with your mouth closed. Like, even when I went to Asia, like to countries like China, like Japan or Korea, I thought they were really badly mannered, because they were making all these noises and eating really badly. Like, they will take like a cup and drink it just like this. Like in Mexico, like, we put like the plate here and the fork, and just normally we eat just like this. And if you do that, like in China or Japan or Korea, they're going to stare at you. Okay, so we also have respect for our elders here in Mexico. Like, grandparents are really looked by, they're really loved by the family. And sometimes they also have nicknames, but usually the nicknames that we give here in Mexico are the ones that another friend gave to you and the family got used to it, or like a family member that gave you a nickname, and because the other persons in the family liked it, they're going to use that nickname. Or, well, here in the city of Monterrey, like, to the parents of our friends, it doesn't matter if it's a female or a male friend, we call them tío, and tío means uncle, or tía, that means auntie. And we go to them and we say like, oh, hi, tío, like, how are you, and everything. So we call them tíos, like a way like to familiarize themselves with us. And we see like close friends like family. Like, once you meet a Mexican, you usually meet the whole family, and you become friend of the whole family. So that's why we value more our family and friends more than work. So that's why Mexicans are really happy, even if we have economical problems, corruption problems, political problems, or other problems. Okay, so I hope that answered your question, and if not, you can send another one.
Okay, so thank you, Daniel. Maybe Sophia, you're going to add something, maybe like do and don'ts that you know, like maybe something that like a tips and trick, like when we visit Mexico. Maybe you can give us some tips or like a do and don'ts that we must follow when we visit Mexico, Sophia.
Okay, thank you. Maybe it's a different culture, but in Mexico, I talk about woman. It's very important the appearance, the physique. So the hair, the makeup, the skin. It's very important to be delicate. So even the how to say Daniel escote.
I don't know how they say it, but even like escote, well, she means like this, the ones that girls use here in Mexico, like, they don't show off too much from the chest. Yeah, even the way that you have a escote here, it will talk about you, because Mexicans, they also like to gossip a lot. So that's why. Okay, so you can continue, Sofia.
Thank you. When you are sitting or be with men, it's very important to be distance because they confuse about relationship and that thing. So it we are very friendly. We are hug, we are kiss when we meet. So that the line and between be friends and the relationship is very short. So it's very important to take distance and be clear about the intentions because we are like that. We are friendly. We are so kindness, and some people could confuse about be in love or only be friends.
Okay, Sophia, we get it. So is this like we cannot even differentiate like the relationship between like some people there because you guys are so close? I mean, like in Indonesia, it is not common thing to see one guy or like one girl hug each other, you know, like society is literally going to judge you for that. So I think it's kind of like a culture shock maybe when we visit Mexico and then we see some people hug each other in front of us. It's going to, yeah, it's going literally to shock ourselves. And actually, Daniel and Sophia, we are having some participants who want to ask you directly by turning on their microphone. And I'm calling Nizar Surya Nagara. Okay,
Yes.
okay. So you may turn on your microphone and then you may ask your question.
Okay, thank you, host. Hello, Daniel and Sofia.
Hello, Nisa. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I want to have a question, first question, and I was writing chat, but yeah, maybe I have another very important. I want to know what I supposed to prepare when I want to go to Mexico, like for I have safety to go there and enjoy the beach and anything I want to there. Thank you.
All right. So thank you for your question. So if you want to visit Mexico, like Mexican authorities would ask most countries a visa to travel here. I believe they ask for Indonesians for a visa. So if you want to get a Mexican visa, it's not on arrival like other Asian countries or other parts of the world, or unless you are from Europe or other places. So you have to go to a Mexican embassy to get a tourist visa or a student visa, and they will help you. Like they will ask you like some things. I don't know if you will have an interview. It depends. And then I believe like a tourist visa, they will give you like 3 months or 6 months, depending on the nationality. And once you arrive to Mexico, you can visit any part of Mexico. And I believe like you can use that visa as the way you like it. Like you can go to other places like Guatemala, like the US, or to Belize or to Cuba, and you can come back to Mexico again. And as long as you don't pass those 3 or 6 months, depending on your visa, you can visit as the most places and the most things you want. So I don't think it's a problem. As long as you go to the Mexican embassy in Jakarta and pay for the visa, I don't know how much you have to pay. You can visit Mexico freely, and like you can also like take a flight from Indonesia to Korea or to Japan, and then or to China, and then you take a flight all the way to Mexico. So you avoid the US. Like if you pass by the US, it's going to be more cheaper, but the US may ask you for another visa, and the US visa is way more harder than the Mexican one.
Thank you, Daniel.
Okay, thank you, Daniel.
Then,
Okay, Sophia, you want to add something?
yeah, I think Nisar Surya, I think it's the name, ask you about the witchcraft. Do you know? It's um about make potions and rituals and prayers and things like bad things.
Oh,
Yeah, I so curious about which market in Sonora. I read on news that is like, oh my God, what is that? It's which market really? So, would you like to explain that? Thank you.
oh, so you are talking about crafts and witchcraft and all those things. Am I right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
sorry. I confused. All right. So, well, it's not that common as you may think, because Mexicans, as I told you before, they're really Catholic. But there are many people that they do believe in witchcraft, or they do believe like in magic. But usually, most people like us, like we avoid them. But there are like secretive places or like markets where you can find those things, but but I don't know like what kind of witchcraft or craft they use, because I'm really Catholic, so I avoid those places. But there is a market here in the city of Monterrey that it's called Mercado Juarez, and there you can find, I don't know, like people that make potions, that they make crafts, and even satanic things. But mm, I really avoid those places. But as I told you, like you can find it, and even in other cities in Mexico, you can find it too. And even in small towns, there will be like people that will practice crafting or other things. Oh, and traditional crafting, and they make it mostly but not witchcraft, and normal crafting like artisan things, they make it in the southern places of Mexico, central Mexico, and southeastern Mexico. They are mostly made by the indigenous population here in Mexico. Like here in Mexico, we have like 64 languages, and 63 of them they are indigenous languages. So depending of the indigenous population, they will be the type of crafts they are going to make.
Oh, I
I
see. Thank you, Daniel.
witchcraft is things about make good things and bad things, and it's not even real. It's no like science. It's something like one person decide to make that things, and someone go to the market and ask for a favor, and the favor is to pass to any person's gods and think that make believe it in something. So there are different levels of witchcraft, from do it energy cleanse, like years and cleans the energy about yourself, and some level like high level of witchcraft is asking for someone's death. So that person prays to God, evil to someone's death. And there are many legends of being true or false that this is full file, but there are many politicians who believe that this can help on their political career, and think that if there are go or went to witchcraft, maybe that could help to uh, get some power.
Yeah, but as we told you, like most people, they don't believe in it, and it's mostly fake. But yeah, like in some markets, they can do you a cleansing, like with herbs and with other things. And like you go to, I don't know, to a traditional place in Mexico City, and I don't know, somebody dressed like an Aztec or a Mayan, they will have like some herbs, and they will do you a cleansing and put vapor on you. It's really weird, but many people do it just because trying something. They won't believe in it, but they will do it just because they want to. But
But
yeah,
then I think it's part of our culture. If we can, that tradition in Mexico, if you have headache, um, your grandma or your mom take a egg and pray and pass the egg around your body, and if you crush the egg and if the egg is white, it's about like, oh, you are free of headache and mal de ojo, that make you feel better before the cleanse. So it's part of the culture. It's not about bad things. My grandma thinks it's good for health. So it's, I think we are this tradition in short in um, short level. So it's about, I think it's very difficult to understand like what the difference between do that thing and go to the witchcraft, but I think it's about the culture and the traditions in the family.
yeah, it
Oh, yeah,
depends
I
on the
see.
family.
Thank you very much. Because in Indonesia, we have something, if we call it dukun. Dukun is in English is witch, seems like that.
Uh-huh.
So I think it's similar with between which in your country and on my country, and we have living on like that too is spiritual for me too. I understand why some person come to which what they want to and like that. Thank you very much for Sophia and Daniel.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Okay,
Okay, thank you for your question.
okay, so we are having our second and then second participant who wants to ask you directly by turning on your microphone and then calling Afisa. Afisa M.
Okay, thank you so much for the moderator that has given a chance to me to ask questions. And sorry for turn off my camera because there is something problems with my camera. And hello Sophia and Daniel. Thank you so much for the speaker who has delivered the material very well and very clear. And it made me very curious to know the Mexico. So we know that the maybe Daniel has ever gone to Indonesia because the moderator had said that she had ever met for the first time with Daniel in Bali. And the question is, when you go to Indonesia, what things that make you remember to Mexico and what things that you have seen Indonesia that has similarities from Mexico? And maybe such as food or habits or culture maybe. And thank you. That's all.
Okay, Daniel, you may turn on your microphone. I think your microphone is still.
Oh, sorry. So thank you very much for your question. That's a really good question. So actually have been to Indonesia in the past twice. I went twice to Bali and once to Jakarta. Okay, so I can tell you like what similarities I can see in Indonesia and Mexico. Okay, first of all, similarities like Mexican people and Indonesian people, they are really nice. They are really good. Also, Indonesians, they have a really good hospitality, just like Mexicans. Like they welcome you, they speak to you, like they're really curious to know about you. And that is something that we Mexicans, we have too. Like we welcome the foreigner, like we take the foreigner to Mexican restaurants to get to know the city, other places, and we befriend the foreigner. And that is also similar to Indonesia. Also, what else? Most Indonesia is really tropical, and most Mexico is tropical too. In southern Mexico, it's really tropical, so you can see that they have these similarities. We also have like really big cities, like Jakarta is really big, and Mexico City is really big too. I remember that when I went to Jakarta, they call it the durian because of the shape of the city. I thought it was kind of funny and curious, but it's really cool, I think. Okay, and also what else I can tell you? And that compared to other countries, Indonesia and Mexico, they are not that expensive compared, like, I don't know, to Europe or to other parts in Asia or even the US. So, like, if you come from those places, your money will have more value and you can get really cheap things. You can do that in Indonesia and as well as in Mexico. Depends on the place you go. Because if you go to Cancun, Cancun is going to be really expensive. But if you go to tiny towns and other things, you can eat for really cheap. Like we use the Mexican peso here. And okay, so I can tell you as well as differences that I have seen between Indonesia and Mexico. Okay, Indonesian people are really nice, but they are really shy, really shy. And I saw that not only in Indonesia, but in most parts of Asia, like in Japan, in Korea, in China, in Thailand, and in the Philippines. And that was a big culture shock for me because I remember that I would pass by like touristic places, like airports, like shopping places or restaurants, and many people would stare at me. And I don't know if it was like a strange look, like a mean look, like a good look, like a flirty look. So it's kind of weird from my point of view. Because in Mexico, if you stare to someone a lot and you do that like in a mean way, you are going to get in a fight. But like in Asia, I got used to it. I thought that maybe people will be curious because I was a foreigner, because maybe they haven't seen many foreigners in their cities, and because I didn't look from Indonesia, and that is something. And also a back talk. I remember I was in the MUN, in the event where I met Gesia. I was taking some pictures. I was dressed like a mariachi. I was taking pictures with many persons around the event. And I remember that this Indonesian girl came all the way to me, and she gave me a note, and she told me like, "Oh, they sent this to you." And I opened the note, and it says like, "Oh, like your mariachi costume looks really beautiful. It looks really nice and everything, but you are blocking our way to see the event and to see the awards and everything. So can you please sit down or do it in another way?" And I remember I got that note, and I took it and I threw it away because I felt so angry, because in Mexico, if someone sends you a note like that, you will get in a fight, and you will be like punching and everything. It's like Mexicans, they like to be confrontative when somebody is mean to them. And for me, that back talk was really mean. I still remember that happened, and I told that to my other Mexican friends, and they were like, if that had happened to me, I would have smacked the person. So yeah, like I see that in Asia, they tend to be not that confrontative. They tend to be more neutral. They tend to be a little bit more shy, and this is not something that happens only in Indonesia, but in most countries, and even in most parts of Asia, I will see people that will be like angry, like sad or worried in the streets. And in Mexico, you see people walking on the streets and everyone is really happy, and if you ask something to someone, they will answer you. It's like Mexicans are more approachable and more friendly, but they like to be confrontative. Like if you want to tell a Mexican something, say it in front of it, and there are ways to say to it. Like even if that girl had come to me and say to me like, "Oh, can you sit down a little bit," or anything, like I wouldn't have mind, but that note made me like, no, I'm not going to sit down. I'm going to take lots of pictures just because of that, like in revenge.
All right, thank you, Danielle.
Okay, so thank you. And then so Daniel, like you know that in Indonesia, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm so sorry. What happened with my video?
Yeah, don't worry, it's okay.
So process of you. Okay, so anyway, I'm sorry. I'm having a technical issue. I cannot start my.
Yeah, so don't worry, it's okay. Like I can wait or tell anything else. Okay, so
So Daniel, so you know that when you were probably in Indonesia, a lot of people, a lot of like Indonesians ask or request you to take a picture with them, right? And
yeah.
yeah, it's actually very common in Indonesia. Whenever we see foreigners, we tend to take a pictures with them. It's like we really want to take a picture with them, and I'm sure that you experience that a lot. So, like, does this thing happen in Mexico? Like, do like locals actually ask to take a picture with foreigners? Like, does it happen in Mexico?
Actually, yeah, that happened to me in Indonesia. Like I took pictures with many Indonesians, Indian, and other parts of Asian, and I thought that was really cool. I was really happy to take pictures with everyone, and I felt really happy that day. And in Mexico, it's not that common for a local person to ask a foreigner to ask for a picture, because they will think that will be really awkward and that will be really weird. Well, in the Mexican perspective, but yeah, some people do. But as I told you, like it's not that common. Like in Indonesia, I will take pictures, videos with everyone that approached me. But I remember even being in Asia, and people will sometimes just look at me and take pictures and take videos and everything. And at first I thought that was awkward, but when that happened, I will always like smile and like wink to them. So they will be like, he's looking at me, and then like they will smile or they will turn the camera away. But I wouldn't have minded if they would have asked me like the Indonesians did. And I thought that was really cool because Chinese avoid that, but in Indonesia they will be like, "Can you take a picture with me or do a voice note or anything?" And I thought, like, yeah, I will help you with anything, and that was really cool.
Okay, so Daniel, and about Indonesia, like maybe in Bali, what is the thing that you miss the most about Bali?
Okay, what I missed the most about Bali, and I thought Bali was really cheap. Well, in my standard, because Mexican beaches tend to be more expensive. So I miss going to the hotels, to the resorts. I do miss eating some Indonesian food, but I don't remember the names. Like when I went to some hotels, they would put like Indonesian dishes, but without the name. And I thought like, oh, this one tastes funny. They tastes good, and this one tastes really bad. I don't remember the names, but I thought most of Indonesian food was really good, and I love it. All the juices, and I also miss all the temples in Bali. I miss the beaches too. I do miss Indonesian people too. They're really nice too. And what else? Oh, I miss milk tea. I don't have milk tea in my city, and I miss milk tea.
Milk tea? Okay.
Milk tea.
Oh yeah. So we call it maybe like Thai tea. So it's kind of like a milk tea because I don't think. Okay, I
Oh,
apologize for the noise.
yeah, actually, like in most parts of Asia, you can find like Thai tea or milk tea, and it's really common. But here in Mexico, it's not common. But they just opened a franchise of Gongcha here in Mexico, and hopefully, like in during this year or next year, they will open a Gongcha here in Mexico, so I will have milk tea again.
Okay, thank you. So we are having another participant who wants to ask you a question, and I'm calling Rosdina Dilaranti. Are you there, Rosdina? Okay, so I think she's having an internet connection problem, and we are calling Rizky Nurlida, Octipia, Rizky Nurlida.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay, so you may ask your question.
Mm, I know my question is not insignificant, but I still want to ask. Uh,
Mana tadi yang tadi berapaan sih itu esnya? 1.000. Mau pakai duit mana? 10. Ini aja.
Rizky, you may ask your question, and if you are
Yeah.
probably having a problem with a crowd or like with noise, you may just type your question in our chat box.
I will ask.
Okay.
I know the majority in Mexico's population is Catholic, right? So can you explain about your views on Muslim women who wear the hijab? Have you already seen maybe like first impression when you meet Sis Gesia, maybe like that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so don't worry, like, don't be shy. Like, all questions are important. You can ask me anything, anyone. So, okay. So, at first here in Mexico, when I hadn't had the chance to travel, for me, like seeing women with hijabs or cover up or just like that, I thought that was, well, really mean because I thought like men force women to use the hijab or to use the burqa. And I thought that was really mean because, well, because they didn't have the option to wear what they wanted or to look how they wanted to be. But then again, I started to visit other countries and to meet. I have many Muslim friends from around the world, from Africa, from Asia, and other parts. And they will, I will ask them like, "Are you forced to use the burqa or the hijab?" And they told me like, "No, like some people use it and some people don't, but we're still Muslims." And I thought, oh, that was really cool. But then again, like using the hijab or the burqa, I don't have any problem with it because again, it's the faith that you practice, and we are really happy that you have your faith and everything. And I think that it's really cool because Even if I am Catholic and even if you are Muslim, we still pray to the same God, and we try to be good persons, like to do good deeds to everyone. We try to be spiritual. So I think that it's really cool that even if we are somehow different because of a type of religion, we still try to be a good person. And I still believe like Muslims, it's a really cool religion because they have really cool costumes. They have really cool traditions. They have really cool food. Like they have really good things, and that complements the world. Like each person has its own religion, and we make a part of it. So I think that it's really important, and I think it's really cool actually. So I love it too.
In Mexico, you are free to wear anything you want. If you want to wear dress or shirts or scarf or your hijab, you are free to do it. It's not well, in Mexico we don't use the hijab, and maybe you can get many sees like what, wow, that woman used her hijab, but no one could say anything about that. It's like very free, and if you want to do it, but no one have the power to say to you that you can use that thing.
Yeah, like people won't tell you what to do. They will respect you, and even if somebody treats you badly, like other Mexicans will defend you and anything, because we respect everyone and we love everyone, and Mexicans love all foreigners and we love foreigners and all cultures.
Okay, Rizky.
All right, thank you.
Okay. So thank you. So, Sophia, have you ever probably met Indonesians in Mexico? Sophia?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, have you ever met some Indonesians in Mexico, maybe?
In Mexico, no. It's
Oh,
I don't know how to say, but the country it's not or my maybe my city is not about very foreign people. It's like some weird to see someone from another country. But if you go to Cancun or Playa del Carmen or some tourist places, you could meet someone from your country. I went to Canada, Toronto, and there meet people from other countries. But in Mexico, it's very difficult to meet someone from another city.
okay. So I see. So this is actually your first impression talking to Indonesians, isn't it? And what do you
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. And we are also happy to see you. And so, Daniel and Sophia, so we are having another question that I think is interesting. So, you know a movie Coco, right? And I
Yeah.
think,
Yes.
yeah, so there is a question from Andika Pratama. He asked, in Coco movie, there's kind of like a festival, like about in graveyard. So, is it actually real? Is it a real festival in Mexico?
Yeah, so that festival, it's called Dia de los Muertos or Day of the Dead.
In Mexico, we are not afraid of the dead. It's like something like we accept before. Obviously, you can death or murder or something, but we treat the death like cycle. It's like you are born, you live, and death in sometimes. We see the death like with love, nor with fear. So that day, it's the 2 day of the November, and we celebrate about the people who is not around us right now. So it's like if your father pass away, you could give some things like he loves in life, like food, like hobbies, like hair clothes, as if he is in this world. So it's like a tradition, very, very big tradition in Puebla. I think it's Puebla City. You can go to the 2nd of November, and I think, Daniel, how to say Panteon in English?
Daniel, you turn off your microphone. Maybe you can turn them.
Oh yeah, sorry. So pantheon in English is cemetery. Yeah.
Mausoleum, Pantheon. It's you go and it's like a big, big, big party. It's like you can go with musicians, with food, and eat the food with the in the grave of your parents or your parents. So yeah, that movie it's real about the traditions.
Yeah, so that tradition it came from a place called Pátzcuaro that it's in the state of Michoacan. So most people they will take like cempasúchil, that is a type of flower, and they will put it around the graves in that island of Pátzcuaro during the 2nd of November, that it's Day of the Dead here in Mexico. And when the Spanish arrived to Mexico and they saw that tradition, like as a part of getting to that type of indigenous populations of that place, they mixed the traditional Day of the Dead from the people from Pátzcuaro with Catholics. So right now, it is a really popular day in Mexico during November, just after Halloween. But Halloween it's more American, but still people do it here. But Day of the Dead is more important mostly in central, southern, and southern eastern Mexico. And yeah, so people like they put food, they put altars with food, like they put like the picture of the loved one. And I don't know, like they put like you can put like a basketball if that person like the basketball. You can put cigarettes if that person like to smoke. Like you have to complement that altar with things that the loved one that died, to make it look cool and to make like a rendition of that person. So I think it's a really beautiful tradition that we have here in Mexico. And after Coco, they started to make a Day of the Dead parade in Mexico City to even attract more tourists. But it is really popular and it's really beautiful. So you can find it during those days here in Mexico. And when you go to those places, the cemetery will be full of flowers and people will clean up the graves and everything. So it looks clean and beautiful during the next other days or months of the year when you visit again that grave of that loved one.
Okay, so it's actually real and it's actually interesting. It's like one of our favorite movies, right? It's beautiful and yeah. So let's speak about culture and let's talk about language. So Daniel, we know that Spanish is your language, right? And you have said that you have mentioned that you have 32 states. And in Indonesia, as we have 34 provinces, each province has like their own language. You know, our local and our local language. So like, is it same in Mexico? Like, does each state actually have their own language, or all speak like maybe Spanish, or maybe is there any kind of a different Spanish, something like that, Daniel?
Okay, so well, it's not like in Indonesian in this case, like all Mexico speaks Spanish, but like in northern Mexico, in most states, there are no indigenous population. So because of that, like in Nuevo León, because we don't have traditional indigenous population here, we don't have another language. But if you go to southern Mexico, like Michoacan, like the state of Guerrero, like Oaxaca, Chiapas, perhaps Quintana Roo or Yucatan, you will find other idioms or languages. And right now, I believe there are 63, 64 indigenous languages that are official for Mexico apart from Spanish. But out of that, like most people that have like education and other things, they will try to speak, I don't know, like learn English, like learn French, learn Italian or German. And most people in the southern, like some of them, they are native to their indigenous languages, but they learn Spanish so they can communicate with other persons. But most people that are born with only Spanish, not all of them will learn the indigenous languages like Purepecha, like Otomi, like Maya, or like any other, like Nahuatl, that it's the second most common language here in Mexico, with like 2 or 3 million out of 128 million. So usually those languages stick only to the indigenous population. But if you want to learn it, you can. But even if you try, it's not common to find like courses or universities that teach you how to learn that languages. Like you have to go to the place and learn from the locals to learn that language because they are not that common.
Okay, so what about, I mean, like as Mexico is near United States of America, like is English the second language or foreign language in Mexico, Daniel?
Perhaps it can be a second and third languages, even if we are close to the US and even if we have Belize as our southern neighbors, they speak English and Spanish too. Like, I don't know, like most people with education, they will learn English, but I don't know if it's that much to make it a second or third unofficial languages. But like, if you want to have a good job, like to go higher in your university, in rankings or whatever, like having English is really important because if you don't have English, like I don't know, they wouldn't give you more time with your contract or they wouldn't hire you because they want you to have English. So I do believe it's going to be a second or third language. If it's not now, it's going to be in the future.
Oh, okay, so I see. Oh, anyway, Daniel, you mentioned about Aztec, right? You mentioned
Yeah.
about pyramid and also Aztecs. Like, what about like their language? Do they also speak Spanish or kind of like, yeah, also the same Spanish that you speak?
Yeah, like even if they are Aztecs in the center of Mexico, well, I don't know if it's still a civilization. Well, it was, but most indigenous people from those parts they still speak Spanish. But even some words that we speak right now, like chocolate, I don't know in Nahuatl, the original word is chocolatl. Like avocado in Spanish is aguacate, and it was aguacatl in the indigenous languages. So in Mexico, the Spanish that we have is also a mix from other native languages from here, from Mexico, that were adopted with time, and they are mixed right now. And the same applies with those indigenous languages, with new words that arrive with Spanish and modernization. They had to put Spanish words to indigenous languages to make it more bigger or to complement it. Yeah.
Okay, okay, I see. So Daniel, we are having another question that is coming from a YouTube participant from YouTube. Like as we stream our webinar on YouTube, and it's kind of like a long question. Okay, so he says that I personally really love Latin culture, especially the music. Recently, I listened to Paquita so far to
Paquita.
like yeah Paquita.
Yeah, Paquita.
And then so far, To Let Rest is my favorite song. And when we talk about Mexico, the first thing that comes out of our mind is the mariachi. How do you spell it? Mariachi band?
Mariachi.
Mariachi band, taco, Frida Kahlo, La Llorona, El Chapo. And
Yeah.
it's true that most of us only know about Mexico from what the American movie industry represented them in the movies, right? Like
Yeah.
Narcos and Coco. Is it Narcos? Yeah, that
Yeah.
one.
Narcos.
And both are really famous. As Michael said before, we shouldn't only capture what Mexico really is from the movies, but I think we can use the movie as a media to introduce Mexico culture. So, like, what is true and false thing about Mexico culture in Coco movie? You know that the Coco movie literally represents about the Mexican culture, but like, is there kind of like a correct or like a true and also false facts about Mexico that is represented by in the Coco movie? And also, what kind of event when people put on skull makeup, like in Coco they put like kind of like skull makeup, like they put makeup on the same like looking like a skull on their faces, and also they are wearing a flower crown. And also, why are they doing that? Do you get the point, Daniel?
Okay, so I do get the point. I believe that's really cool that you listen to Paquita la del Barrio. She is really popular here in Mexico. She is really popular from traditional regional Mexican music from mariachi. She mostly talks about equality and equity, that how men mistreat women in culture and how women should empower it. And that were those songs started even in many years ago when it wasn't that common to talk about equality. Like right now in Mexico, there are being people that go to the streets so that women have more rights, that they can speak, because Mexicans tend to be really, I don't know how to say culture, machista, like manly, I don't know. Anyways, so Paquita will talk about those things that used to be taboo back then, and that right now they are starting to be more common. That is one thing. So, and also like mariachi is a really common traditional genre here in Mexico. And also we have corridos, rancheras, and those are another types of Mexican regional music that is really popular mostly in northern Mexico and in the southern US, mostly between the people that migrated from Mexico to the US. And it's really popular as well. And what else? As you said before, like even if Mexico is mentioned in media, like in Coco, like Narcos, and all those things, it's a good way to start to know Mexico. But like, how do I say it? Like, don't believe that everything that narcos say is real. Well, it is real, but it doesn't mean that in all of Mexico there are narcos. Like, it's like any other city in the world or any other town. There are good places and bad places. You avoid the bad places because usually you can find drugs or somebody from a cartel. But most of the cities, they are really good places, and like as long as you do the normal things, like what would you do in Indonesia to stay safe, the same would apply to Mexico. And what else? Oh, and as you mentioned in the movie of Coco, okay, so it is true that some people like to use makeup to look like a skull. It is common, but not everyone does it. Like just some persons that want to look more traditional to take pictures. The flowers on top, like here, like a crown, it's not that common either. It's more common to use the skull makeup, but it's less common to use the crown. But if they do use the crown, they use like the cempasúchil flowers that are common in the Day of the Dead or Dia de Muertos here in Mexico. And it's common that here in Mexico during Day of the Dead we also make like skulls made of candy, and they put like a loved one or the dead one name on top of the candy skull, and they eat the skull. But because it's a tradition to make those skulls during the Day of the Dead. And it is also true from the Coco movie that yeah, people do the altars that they celebrate all of those things, but it's not true that even in the dead world there are like levels. Like that is not true. The only things that are true is that the altars, the way they put the things in the altars, like the loved ones, and also like Frida Kahlo and all of those, they appear also in the Coco movie. And yeah, also Frida Kahlo is part of the Mexican culture, and Mexicans are really proud of many things like tequila, tacos, Frida Kahlo, mariachis, and they're even really proud of Coco. So Mexicans are happy with that movie because they show another side of Mexico that is not shown usually in most media because of the narcos and the bad US propaganda.
Daniel, I think Geisha mentioned Katrina, that's this representation.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, the
Oh, Katrina,
flowers
yes.
and the makeup. It's the side of the dead to see the beautiful of the dead. Is why the makeup and the flowers is a representation of the beauty of the dead. It's not to see the dead like bad thing, like something bad and cry about all the time about the death of the person. It's Katrina, like the representation of woman of the dead.
Yeah, women in the dead world. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we got it. And speaking of like a pakita, so Daniel, I remember that you told me that you have this Indonesian's favorite song. And would you mind telling me, yeah, you have ever told me that you have this like Indonesian favorite songs, and what are those again?
Okay, so I know a few Indonesian singers. I think my favorite one is Agnes Mo. Yeah, I think Agnes has she's really pretty and she has really good songs. I like her style. I also know another song. It's not a common song, but the song is called Tiada Lagi. I don't know what it means, but I like Tiada Lagi. It's I think the singer is called Maria, I believe. I think so. I will pass you later the link. And what else?
Okay, so we are having another question, and so it is maybe kind of like a bit more a general question. So, we are having a question from Apri. So he asked, like, so if I want to find a job in Mexico, is it easy to find a job in Mexico, and how do I apply for one? And maybe what is the average salary there? That's what he asked.
Okay. So applying for a job in Mexico, well, it depends. Like sometimes they hire foreigners really easy. Like it depends on the type of employment or the company where you work. Like here in Mexico, where in Monterrey, they opened a factory from Kia Motors from South Korea. So they took 14,000 Koreans to live all the way to Monterrey, and they mixed the Korean jobs with the Mexican jobs, and they generate even more jobs to Mexicans. So that was good. But if you ask me, like, if you are a foreigner, like I don't know, if you want to teach like Indonesian in a school, maybe you can talk like with a university and tell like, oh, I want to be an Indonesian teacher and I want to open this and that, and maybe you can be a teacher from your own language. That would be easy. But like if you want to have a job in Mexico, it can be easy if you are a foreigner and wants to work in an international company. If you speak English and Spanish as well as other languages, they will give you more, like it's going to be more easier. Like the more languages you speak, the more doors you are going to have open for you. But the salary here in Mexico, it's not that well paid. I do believe it's better paid than in Indonesia, But like here in northern Mexico, in Monterrey, they will pay you monthly in between like 12,000 and 80,000 Mexican pesos, like as a average, like for the well-paid jobs, because they are lower jobs. But in those well-paid jobs, there are lots of competition, and I believe like in US dollars is something in between 700 and 900 US dollars per month. And you may think that is not much, but like I believe you can have a normal life with that salary, but not like a top life, but not a really low life. And like if you come to a university and I don't know, befriend somebody and befriend teachers and everything, like they can help you to get a job, to assassinate you, and to have I don't know, like job interviews. And it's easier when you have a friend or somebody that works in a company. We call it like palanca, so you can apply for that job. But and also like the way you dress and the way you look, it's going to be really important. Like in Mexico, they tend to be really classicist, and you would see classicism as it at its best, because in Mexico they usually favor the one that looks better, and not only your curriculum, like if you look better, like you know how to socialize, like this and that, like they will favor, like they will, it will be easier for you to get that job. So if you know how to socialize, to speak languages, if you look I don't know, like fit, like thin, like handsome or beautiful, it will be easier for you to get that job. But again, there are many factors,
Okay,
and that's
so
all.
thank you, Daniel. And for other participants, for those who still have a questions, you may ask, as we still have 10 minutes left. So you may ask a questions. And Daniel, while we are waiting for other participants to ask, so I'm going to ask Sophia. Sophia, so what do you think, as this is your first time like having interactions with Indonesians, what do you feel like? How are you feeling about this?
I feel like my family.
Okay, so
um,
are you planning
okay.
to visit Indonesia maybe one day to meet us, maybe to go to Bali?
Yeah, I I'm a person like love trying the food and meet other cultures different to mine. I went to Canada, I went to United States, but it's not very cultural. I really want to go to the museums, their church, and see the majestic nature about their country. It's my plan to go maybe when the coronavirus finish. I don't know when, but I really like to visit Indonesia.
Yeah, and we are looking forward to meeting you, as I think that you have got lots of fans among our participants here actually. So Sophia, about Mexico, like what is the thing that most foreigners do not know about Mexico? What is one special thing that most people, like most foreigners, that like don't know about Mexico?
Wiki dice que no conocemos sobre México.
Dice que es algo que que la gente del extranjero de Indonesia no sabe sobre México. ¿Qué te gustaría decir? Okay, so I'm
Okay, okay.
trying. Yeah.
Maybe the woman it's very insecure. If you try to go out on the night or walk in the park in the middle of the night, it's very difficult to feel secure. It's very insecure to be woman and be alone in the city. Maybe it's not like uh, everything happened to the woman or any woman, but it's a very percentage, very important and significant to say that we are no secure. Many, how to say, marchas,
Like
um,
protestas.
many protests of women to be more secure, and say to the government that we are value, that we are the rights to defend. Um, and in the other part, we are very party. The people in Mexico, it's very warm and very friendly. And when you met a Mexican, they say like, "Oh, you are my friend, you are my brother." And maybe for the other culture, it's very shocking. Like, what the fuck? But it's very say to, well, you meet Daniel, it's very friendly and very like go out with to take I don't know, coffee or see watch movie, and we call very do very like parties and like go for a drink and that, and it's not about like lovers or thing, it's like just be friendly.
Yeah, like best friends. Like here in Mexico, like as my friend Sofia said, like we're really social. Like we love to party. Like sometimes I may go to 2 or 3 parties in one night because I hang around with everyone. I socialize with everyone, and if they invite me to many places, I will be like, okay, I'm going to make time for things. And also, like Mexicans are really happy. They are really relaxed. Like Mexicans, they always get late, except for work and education, unless you obligate a Mexican to get to that place. But usually, like if you tell a Mexican the party is going to be at 8 or 8:30, the Mexican is going to be at 9:30 or 10 p.m. because everyone knows that nobody is at 8 p.m. and there's not going to be like any drinks or party or whatever. And yeah, like Mexicans, we are really social. We love to go to parties, like to go to restaurants. We have lots of friends. Like Sofia and I, we are best friends. And what else I can tell you? Like we here in Mexico, we are really cheeky and we are really flirty. Like we like to flirt a lot. Of course, not with everyone, but Mexicans like to flirt around, like to have a girlfriend and everything, to go out and this and that. It's like, yeah, Mexicans are really flirty and they are really direct compared to other countries.
Okay, I see. So, Daniel, it was a really good session. But before we end our session, maybe do you have something to say for us in Spanish? I would love to hear that. Like, I heard that you were talking in Spanish with Sofia, and it was really beautiful. And maybe you can say something in Spanish for us, or maybe you can teach 1 or 2 words in Spanish for us, Daniel.
Okay, sure. I would love to. Okay, so I'm going to say something in Spanish for you. Muchas gracias por invitarme. Estoy muy orgulloso y muy contento de estar aquí. It means like thank you for inviting me. Like I feel really proud and happy that you invited me to your cross-cultural talk. I will teach you how you say thank you. In Spanish, you say gracias.
Gracias. De
Okay,
nada.
gracias. And also
Gracias.
the word gratis, it's also the same here in Mexico. Like something free is gratis. So it's the same for Indonesia and for Spanish.
Mhm. So I think like you and I actually missed one point that maybe some words in Spanish like are similar to Indonesian language, like a gratis, and maybe some other words. Yeah, some other words that is actually similar to Indonesian language, right? So yeah, that's really good. And muchas gracias, muchas gracias, Daniel, and maybe Sofia. Do you have something to say for us in Spanish? We would love to hear your beautiful voice speaking in Spanish.
Thank you. Yeah, I would like to say that estoy muy agradecida por la invitación. Espero que esto vuelva a pasar muy pronto y visitarlos en algún día en Indonesia. I say like I'm very grateful for being here for your invitation. I hope one day we could make this call again, and I hope I will visit your country someday.
Yeah.
Also, okay, so also what I wanted to say, like, if you wanted to ask me any question and you are really shy and you don't want to say it in public or anything, I'm going to pass you here in the chat my Instagram user, so you can ask me anything, follow me, I will follow back. And yeah, so if you want to ask me anything or whatever, like, you can do it. Like, don't be shy, I don't mind. So I will pass my Instagram users, so if you want to ask me anything or whatever.
Yeah, Daniel, we are going to send your Instagram profile to our chat. So I'm going to share them your Instagram profile later, okay?
All right.
I hope you don't mind. Okay, so that's all. Muchas gracias to Daniel and Sofia. That's all I can say in Spanish. But before that, let me teach you like one Indonesian words, and that is terima kasih. I think Daniel is already familiar with these words, right? Yeah, and
Yeah.
Sofia can probably say that terima kasih. Can you say that? Maybe just one word in Indonesia. That is terima kasih. It means thank you.
Tamakasi.
Yeah,
Eh,
that is really cute. That is really, really
yeah.
sweet. Thank you so much.
uh, terima kasih, Gesia.
Okay.
Oh,
Terima kasih, Gesia. Lots of kisses for Indonesia. And
terima
hugs
kasih.
too.
Yeah, thank you so much, Daniel, and hopefully that we are able to meet up soon with Sofia as well. And we are looking forward to your coming to Indonesia, maybe to Bali or to my hometown or to my campus as well. So thank you so much. Muchas gracias, Daniel and Sofia. Muchas gracias. El todo. I think that's how I say everyone, but okay, I'm sorry, that's probably wrong. Okay, so thank you so much for all the participants here. I'm having so much fun here today. We have learned a lot about Mexican culture, and that is like the thing that always amazes me about Mexican culture is that the food. Like actually, you know that Daniel has mentioned that avocado in Mexico is not for a dessert, rather that is for like a spicy thing, and also about mango kind of like mangita. Is it right? Is it right, Daniel? Mangita?
Yeah, manguito were the ones that I gave you when I went to Bali. The ones that it's like a mango jelly covered in spicy chili.
Yeah, so Daniel actually at that time gave me this candy that is actually spicy and sour. So the thing that I learned about Mexican food is that they rather spicy and also like they love spicy like us, but the kind of like a level of their spiciness is just literally different, and it just really beautiful. It's just really cool, and I hope that everyone can visit Mexico one day, and maybe Daniel and Sofia will welcome us in their home, right? Daniel and Sofia.
Of course,
Of
of
course,
course,
like
you're welcome.
the
Okay.
day you come to Mexico, like we will take you around for a tour to try tacos and everything. Like here in Mexico, you have a home.
And here in Indonesia, you like we yeah, like Indonesia is your home as well. Okay, so we are waiting, like we are looking forward to your coming to Indonesia, and thank you so much for everyone and for Sofia and Daniel. It's such an honor for us to have you with us today in this cross cultural seminar 2.0 with the theme of the wonderful of Mexico, and indeed that Mexico is really really a wonderful. And yeah, thank you so much. And again, I say thank you so much, and I appreciate all of the participants in yeah. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm becoming speechless. But thank you so much, everyone. And that's all. That's all I can say. And farewell. The last I say, good afternoon and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Daniel, Sophia.
Thank you so much.
Terima
Waalaikumsalam.
kasih.
Okay, terima kasih. Bye. Okay, so everyone, you may leave the